It's time for Milberger's Gardening, South Texas. Live from Milberger's Landscaping and Nursery at 1604 in Bulverde Road. During the next 2 hours, our experts will help you with your gardening questions when you call 210-308-8867. That's 210-308-8867. Or come by Milberger's during the show and have your question answered in person. And now it's time for Milberger's Gardening, South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Milberger's Gardening, South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alex Escobar here with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. A little warmer than yesterday. Nice gentle breeze and a lot of people coming out here at Milberger's. So if you're out here listening, if you have any questions, come on up to the patio.
Well, but they've been some pretty tough questions.
They have been. They've been racking our brains.
Yeah, catmint and some of the butterfly plant. Some of the people looking for some of the more exotic plants, and some of the tropical plants too, that the ones that bloom in the heat of summer, poinciana and things. Mm-hmm. So everybody's getting in the spirit of they've declared that we've passed the winter now, I guess.
I guess so. So I guess that's safe to say now is a good time to plant the peppers and tomatoes into the ground.
Well, we're getting kind of at the end of the tomatoes, although we do have some nice specimens here. But the peppers, yeah, this is good pepper time. April, I think Mark and I.
It's a couple weeks early for me, but
they have
the way the weather's going.
Yeah,
maybe
the ones I planted a couple weeks ago had a tough time during that windy, cold spell. So they showed, just like the tomatoes did, some black edges from wind damage. But, boy, they perked up in the last 2 weeks, and they're looking good. They've, I guess the roots have taken hold, and it's been warm enough that they have done well. So, and we had one of the questions we had, too, was where the customer said, well, do you have serrano peppers? And I said, well, we usually do.
Yeah.
And then it turned out we have a bunch of them, but there's a different name on them.
Oh.
I was
going to say we had one yesterday, one that was labeled serrano.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one, one of our staff, I can't remember if it's Susan or Mary, found, and it started with an A. And then underneath was the kind of like in the parentheses, Serrano.
Oh.
So it was. I guess it was somebody's selection or attempt to pursue or provide something they're saying is superior. Serrano.
It may have been the ones that I wrote down yesterday.
Yeah.
So we had two different types of Anaheims. Mm-hmm. We had a Poblano, we had a Banana, and then we had these two that I didn't recognize as Trident and Sargento. And I bet you one of those two were the Serranos.
But, he made a point and came to show us that then we couldn't take credit for finding him the selection, but we did take credit for finding him the knowledgeable staff member there.
There we go.
That's just as important.
And then, Mark, we had one person come to one of your favorite shade trees. He wanted to know why it was showing a bit of a burn symptom.
On the leaf edges? On the leaf edges?
Yes.
Yeah.
And not necessarily the edges, as it was kind of an interior thing. It looked...
Oh.
And
So
it was just one. It's been in 1 year.
Oh, wait, let me guess. Mexican sycamore.
No, but it's close. You're close. One of the white oaks.
Oh, like Chinkapin oak. It had it. It had like a little yellowing in the middle.
Yeah, it looked to me like one of the typical symptoms of either not enough water or too much water. And it turned out that he was generous with the water, and he had a pond right close.
Oh,
And
well,
so
even
he
more.
and he had a real affection for the tree.
Yeah.
So he was making
watering.
sure. I told him before he watered again, check and make sure the soil wasn't soggy.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It should be like those muffins cupcakes that we were taught. And when we put the toothpick in, you shouldn't have any.
And he gave me kind of a look, which I deserved. He said, "We've been in a 7-year drought. Well, how could my soil be soggy?"
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, yeah, I guess the pond could."
Yeah.
So that was interesting, and sometimes being a detective really, well, you need to be a detective.
Yeah, you do.
I wanted to find out what is causing the issues.
Yeah, we used to call it diagnostic techniques. In other words, you're being a detective.
And there was another one that I thought you probably knew. Well, catmint. You know it?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking somebody was on my Facebook feed. There's, how do you identify this weed? It smells really terrible. And somebody on the comments had identified it as catnip.
Catmint?
Nip.
Oh.
This was cat mint.
Oh, mint.
Yeah.
That's what he was after, was mint. Catmint.
Yeah.
Which was attractive, but it looked like something that would grow in Arizona or something.
Oh. No,
but I think we have it here occasionally here at Millburgers.
We do. More often, though, we have various spearmints and peppermints, and some other mints. We have like 3 or 4 that I've seen.
Then we had butterfly bush, which I had to explain that there was lots and lots of different choices there.
Yeah.
And he said that this particular butterfly bush was not it was determined to be not desirable in some areas. And I said, well, here that's really not an issue. It's a little hard to keep it prospering.
Yeah.
But other places that could be a little invasive.
Right. But yeah, the bush and the weed. Now, butterfly weed we like. That's the native Escobar.
But he knew the difference.
Okay.
But I've tried to grow that butterfly bush. Very attractive plant and desirable if you could get it. If you've got some decent soil and it's not harshly alkaline, but it isn't. I've never had great luck with a long-lived experience with it.
Is that a Buddleia? Is that a Buddleia, or is that different?
Yeah, I think he was talking about a Buddleia, but we didn't pursue the Latin binomial. But then we had our wonderful visit from our little hummingbird moth. And it was kind of fun to watch. A number of gardeners were fascinated by it. One of them just got kind of ecstatic. She said, "I've never seen one of those before." I said, "Well, it's probably one of the tomato hornworms."
We're on the radio.
Yeah, okay.
Would you like to be on the radio?
Do you have a question? If you get on the radio here, come on. Ask it.
Are you sure?
Turk's cap she was looking for?
Yeah, it's Turk's cap. And that's usually around the corner behind you.
Yeah.
But we may be out. But
there's
we'll find.
shrimp plant over
Yeah.
there, but I don't see
Yeah.
Turk's cap.
So that was we talked about that yesterday. That I'm having trouble with my seat. The 3 shade plants that we like, or 4 shade plants: shrimp plant, Turk's cap. I like Mexican honeysuckle and the scarlet sage.
Yeah,
Salvia
coccinea.
coccinea.
Yeah, you know the Mexican honeysuckle is really starting to bloom right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great plant for full sun, and it's a
shade.
great plant for the pollinators, but also deer proof. At least in my neighborhood,
Yeah,
it's deer proof.
That's what I hear.
So is that smell is not a dead rat that I smell? That's
No. I'm still a little verklempt for being late. The pastor was a bit long-winded.
We got some good-looking plumbago there, and some.
Yeah, I know.
They've got a new supply of the new gold lantana.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's good.
And these are we have a lot of the perennials around our porch here. And
Yeah,
so
lots
we can see lots of salvia.
Dorferoelia.
Yeah.
And that's salvia.
Yeah, they look like a salvia greggii. I think it's raspberry.
It's an unusual color.
Yeah, I believe it's raspberry.
Very nice. I kind of would describe that as a purple.
Right. It's kind of a reddish purple.
That's another one that's a good choice, and that's a perennial, and generally evergreen. Pollinators love it, and it doesn't. The normal pattern for salvia is to freeze back to the ground every winter, but this one doesn't, and it responds to pruning if you want to shape it.
Yeah.
Or
I haven't touched mine. I have a cherry red one, and I haven't touched it, and it's beautiful round shape. So it just does that naturally, and then
if it gets enough sun, I find them very attractive like that too. If they do pretty well in the shade, but if they get too leggy, you can just you can do some pruning.
You just cut them back,
Yeah.
and they will respond very well.
We had one of the visitors to chat with us. Also was wondering where the zinnias and the snapdragons were.
Yeah, well, join the club.
I said, well, we're kind of at the end of the story on the snapdragons, although they're going to be beautiful for another month. They're spectacular right now. But he was describing that he
All
said
year.
that they never
Mm-hmm.
they just keep blooming year after year, and I thought, well, that's unusual.
Yeah.
But we're expecting more zinnias to come. We need zinnia time for sure. We need those blooming zinnias for the monarch butterflies that are going to be coming through. Yeah, along with some mist flower.
Right.
We do have the lantanas that they'll help meet their needs, and that salvias will help.
Boy, that's those are a couple of plants for the beginning gardener. Is mist flower and zinnia, and some daisies. Yeah, those are just real easy to grow.
Well, you can,
can't hardly kill them.
On zinnias, you just take your pick of what feature that you like the best. Cut flowers or colorful blooms in a row in the garden, or bring in the pollinators for the nectar and the flowers and the blossoms, or the other thing that's really desirable. If you're into things like the lesser goldfinches or even the cardinals, the seeds attract them. And if you let the plant drop the seeds, a lot of those seeds that were dropped last fall are germinating right now, and should be blooming in a couple weeks on the outside. And also they should be here at we can expect the zinnias to be here at Millburgers, along with the selection of begonias over there for the shade. And
the impatiens that came in.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
Impatiens,
A lot
another
of people were impatient for impatiens.
They're impatiens, and they're on sale here at Millburgers.
They are.
4-inch pot regularly $179, on sale 8 for $12.
Yeah, 8. That's 8.
That's 8.
That's not 5. That's not 6. That's 8. Wow.
And as well as this,
So what's that? $1.50 a piece.
pretty much, yeah, not too bad. Also, this very fragrant Society garlic right here in front of us, regularly $9.99, on sale for $7.88.
Yes.
And that is especially desirable if you like ugly smells.
Yeah. Or you have.
It's an acquired scent.
It's another one the deer won't eat.
Yes, and that's the main.
And it's
focus
very
on that.
attractive right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want what's that plant that lily of agapanthus.
Agapanthus.
They want agapanthus. And I said, well, agapanthus doesn't do really well here. Well, I saw it in Southern California. Are
we?
But the point is, a good replacement for that is the Society garlic.
Well, we occasionally have agapanthus, don't we?
Yes, we do. We do. But the nights are a little bit better in California for the agapanthus. It's a little bit drier at night.
Now, you can't hardly beat these blue plumbago here.
I know.
They're in full bloom.
I have to pick one up today. So I have been required. Do you know when we're supposed to get the plumeria around?
I don't believe so.
I was requested to find out. Ask Peter.
Alrighty. 210-308-8867. We're going to be right back with Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. Before the break, we were talking about the Society garlic and how pungent, smelly they are.
No. Fragrant.
Fragrant. How are you going to describe it, Alex?
No, I'm just saying they're very, very, very nice smelling plant. Maybe not for the deer, but
well, you said that it's an acquired taste.
Acquired taste.
You're very accurate on that.
Very academic.
One knows when one is in a garden with that the gardener or homeowner has used it.
Now we saw. Remember, Alex, too, with one of the questioners came up, had that. What is the plant that looks like an arrowhead there?
Oh, that red and orange one?
Yeah, the orange. Mark, gosh. It's right. It's about
in front of the, I think
30 feet, right there by the
by the impatiens.
Pushing the.
Yeah.
You see it?
This is great radio. Where?
Right there.
It's on the floor in front of the impatiens, I believe.
Right behind this gentleman, and now the two customers that are walking there right
really
over on the left.
Great radio.
Very.
I don't know. I will have to. You should have told me before the break, and I would have raced over there.
Well, it's something we've seen and known. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess, plants with scents, what other types of plants that
there's
are there to deter certain pests or deers or?
Well, there's a whole theory on a lot of this stuff promoted by people. So one of them is using essential oil type plants like basil and oregano and thyme, and using them in the garden to help repel mosquitoes. Whether it works or not, I don't know. Evidence is sketchy at best. But there's other. That's the most common one. But there's other plants. I'm trying to think right now. I'm stalling for time. That supposedly repel rodents and other things like that.
Well, with the coyotes, my least favorite predators that spend a lot of time in my yard. I've been using vinegar. Mm-hmm. And, of course, there's a lot of options. All these urine mixes, and one of them that they promote is a wolf urine, to say that it kind of scares the coyotes. But actually, I don't know if it's just I've been lucky or what, but the vinegar, if you're generous with it, seems to have some impact with them. At least my irrigation system has not been torn apart again.
You know, I just thought about the guy who collects the wolf urine. You know, his nickname is Six Fingers.
There must be a joke there.
I said, no, I'm not going to repeat it.
So, yeah, the coyotes can get pretty bold. Oh, most of our wildlife can get pretty bold if they figure out that they're not threatened. I've got an opossum that travels across my back patio now. That and instead of playing dead for my West Highland Terrier, she just sits up on the edge of the patio and looks down and watches for when Tilly comes up the steps. Then she jumps off. And so this is another. They've developed a relationship just like the skunk and my Westies have. If we try not to cross paths and we don't compete with each other, and we just pretend we don't see each other.
So we have skunks,
now
possums.
They have not found that same practice as with the coyotes, though. The coyotes have a tendency to rile them up quite a bit. So hopefully they will. Maybe I won't see the coyotes again, or at least they'll have developed that same kind of relationship with my dogs that the skunks and the possums have.
Is the next rodent relationship raccoons then? If we're ever following the trend of
now, I haven't. The raccoons it depends on your raccoon, but they have a tendency. I haven't found that they are able to ignore the dogs, and the dogs are not able to ignore the raccoons. And of course, we make a joke of it, and it's kind of a fun dialogue, and it's real interesting. It entertains the neighbors and people that come to visit you. But one of the issues now is significant is what's the disease? Rabies.
Mm-hmm.
Rabies, raccoons, and now the coyotes have not been identified as a rabies source here, at least in San Antonio lately, but the raccoons have, and possums have.
Yeah, and foxes.
Oh, yeah, the foxes.
So a couple of cases in Kerr County, including a bat, just recently. I heard this morning.
That's right, and bats have traditionally been an issue.
Have you ever had experience with armadillos?
Oh, yeah, I have. Somebody, one of our listeners, came up and described the experience they had with armadillos, and it made me think of when I lived in Austin and I had my instead of West Highland Terriers, I had Airedales.
Uh-huh.
And so I came back from a trip, and I let my Airedale out the car door, and there was the armadillo, and it ran across the vacant area over there and into the hole. I think it must have been its den, but in there. And much to my chagrin, my Airedale went in right after it. Now that's something a Westie can handle a little better than a Airedale, and so I didn't know how I was going to deal with that, because of course once the battle is started, neither of those sides wants to give up.
That Airedale is just a pacifistic animal.
Yeah.
For those who've had one or
so
enjoyed them.
I got out my shovel and I was digging them up, and there was a new complication. My neighbor who owned the property, the vacant property, said, "What are you doing digging in my property? And why is your dog in my property?" You know. So it was one of those things. There doesn't seem to be a bright future, whatever we look at. So I had to just say, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to leave my dog down there in that hole. So, but that is always a complication when you have pets, and when you encourage wildlife. You end up with some of those kind of challenging situations, and you have to kind of stay calm, and you sometimes have disasters that you wish wouldn't occur, but you live with them and try to figure out next time how you will handle it, and so that you won't have the same problem.
Well, I was in Alamo Heights, near Alamos Basin, and we were there at this house at 7:45 in the morning, and I get out of my vehicle, and there is a big, I'm talking a big fat one, armadillo, and he's racing across the driveway, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm going to come and look at him. And the client came out, and with her little dog, and I went, hold Scruffy or whatever his name was. And I said, because there's a big armadillo. And she goes, oh, yeah, we've been trying to capture that armadillo for a long, long time. And I could see that it was quite healthy, quite large and quite healthy. So maybe he was eating in there on all the Alamo Heights yards. A lovely diet.
You know, the Jerry Parsons, who used to be here on this radio show.
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, he was accomplished at dealing with armadillos. It doesn't work very well to catch them with baits. No. But what he was successful with was that they used the same routes.
Right.
And that you would just limit them, and they would just go through into a live trap,
even they're not very, their eyesight is very poor, and so he would even use a big trash can. And put it right there, right in front of their entrance, and they would just race right into the trash can, and then he would catch them that way. Everything, but he had several different methods.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was all based on the fact that, well, they don't have very good eyesight, and they just race straight line right back to the burrow.
And I can't remember the exact time, but it was something like 2:30. It was always his time. Yeah, just get up at 2:30 and go to that path, and there it'll be. So.
Yes. Jerry's still with us, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, so that I was going to end up on that story. Jerry would have these travels early in the morning outside, traipsing around, catching armadillos and possums and things like that.
So keep in mind, kind of keep, if you do have lots of wildlife that frequents your yard in your neighborhood, be aware of what the current situation is with rabies and controls.
Mm-hmm.
And that city number is really useful on that.
Yeah. So it's 311.
Yes, sir. You have a question?
311?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a good one.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm trying to plant a couple of pecan trees here. And I know there's like a type 1 and a type 2 that you have to have consideration for. And I'm trying, honestly, I'm not too worried about the nut size. It's more just, I just want a big, substantial tree. I've got enough land.
Do you have any soil?
I do. Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I
was going to say, do you live in King William?
No, I live in Bulverde. Yeah.
Oh.
Because that's the limitation quite often that we have here is that
Yeah, the depth of the
soil. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've really seen it with this drought. And my neighborhood is a great example over there at Medical Center. We had lots of pecans growing, but with the drought and then with the freezes that have come, that we're losing a lot of them.
Yeah.
So you gotta,
Well, I've got a septic system that sprays in that area, so they're going to get watered regardless, for sure, throughout the year.
Because
so I always ignore the whole type 1 and type 2 thing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So were you looking for a specific one or just a
I'm
good
looking
one?
for the tallest. I'm just trying to get the tallest, most substantial trees to be able to appreciate. And
all right, here you go. And then I'll relate this story afterwards. You want to get one with a straight trunk?
yeah, I've got two over there and I wanted to get your thoughts on.
I can't turn
I need you to do everything.
what variety are they?
Yes.
I
So that was
believe
another thing.
Yeah, a desirable and maybe a Choctaw.
There you go.
Oh, they're both good, yeah.
Yeah, they're both good. If we had a Pawnee, probably that may be another good one. But
that's the one I like.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is look for a central trunk, a central leader.
Yeah.
If you want a nice straight one with good branch architecture, then that's what you want. You want one with a strong central leader. Having said that, those who are interested in nuts will often cut that central leader. I was at a planting, and Larry Stein and Greg Grant did that, and I was over a half a mile away, and I came running, yelling the whole way, because they were interested in production. Mm-hmm. And you want lots of branches, lots of trunks going up that way. But if you're interested in one that's going to grow tall with well-structured architecture, branch architecture, then you want a nice, straight, tall one.
Right. That's my and again, that's my understanding as well. As far as if I wanted to be more full, then potentially remove.
Now, is this make it less of a threat in terms of the branches breaking off? Or?
Yes. Yeah, so you see ones that are grown natively along rivers and creeks and like that. You see they have a nice central trunk and side branches, which are about 2/3 of the diameter of the trunk. And then on those branches, guess what? The next little branches are about 1/2 to 2/3, again, as small. And again. So that's what you want. You don't want big, long branches that are of the same diameter almost all the way to the end. Those branches break.
Gotcha.
So that's what you want when you plant it. In other words, when you prune it, and you'll prune it over time, Usually we don't prune it for the first couple of years. And you will want to maintain that same thing, a central trunk and side branches which are slightly smaller than the trunk.
Mark, how about the? Have you planted them before?
No, sir.
How about the unusual shape of the root ball?
Okay.
There?
So everyone thinks, because in their childhood they saw a picture of it, they always think there's a big taproot. Well, it just so happens on members of the walnut family, i.e. pecans and walnuts, they tend to have a big taproot, but only when they're young. And that will diminish over time. So yours may have that in the
I've seen
container.
them, and that was one of the questions I had. I was like, why do all of these that I see here have this unusual...
Oh, you should have seen what it used to be. I mean, it was like you had more root ball than you did top.
Yeah.
Really?
So you can go ahead and cut those. In fact, if there's any 90-degree angles anywhere in the root ball, cut those and make them just straight. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
In the long run, it'll be much better for the tray.
Well, because it's so hard, unless you've got 2 feet of soil, it'd be tough to get those that dig that hole, too.
Yeah, I had some guys with when they were out in the back. They drilled a couple of holes for me. Yeah, so
Okay.
I've got some 3-foot holes that I can put them in. I just need to widen them a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah.
So wider is better.
Yeah.
If you remember the old commercial, well, you may not remember. You're very young. Wider is better. So same thing. So at least twice the diameter of the container, preferably 2.5 to 3 times.
Yeah.
And just because they are growing in the pecan container, which for our listeners is narrow and long. And so you may not be able to get down far enough for that. Don't worry. You can cut the taproot, not a problem.
Cutting the taproot.
Yeah.
All right, you picked the right species. The right varieties.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. All right, I'll just find some good soil to plant them in, and some other stuff. And
if you want to know, watering is so important. And if you want to know how to water, you can go to GardenStyleSA.com and look for the maintenance and look for watering. Watering for established trees is called 321. It was written by a very handsome and intelligent man.
Well, and he's gotten kind of senile in his old age.
So look on the proper procedure on that. But it's 321. Basically, you're watering 3 times a week. In the absence of rain, 3 times a week for the first month. And then twice a week for the first month, and then last month. So you want to get it. Want to get it well established.
And and I guess if you've got the hole dug that deep, then the water will penetrate.
Right.
But you don't want the water to settle.
Sit in the hole.
You want it to drain through, but.
And do I want to raise that mulch around the outer part of the tree and do that process? I forget what. Nay, no. Okay.
No volcanoes.
You can do a mulch if you want over the root area, but not again. You don't want to do it against.
Some people will make a ring, and by a ring we mean a ring, a little to hold the water. Mm-hmm. Some people do that. It's not necessary, but some people like to do that to hold, and they can see how much water is that are putting into the soil.
It's definitely attractive too.
Yeah. Well, these are in the back of the lot, and it won't be noticed by anyone. And that it's not It's not for a visual effect. I just didn't know if it was beneficial to the tree to have it that way.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's actually detrimental.
Okay. Very good. Well, gentlemen, I think that's all I have. Yes, thank you so much for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we'll be right back with Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867.
Well, we finished our second monarch and butterfly class on Saturday. Had a great discussion and collected a lot of information. We had Lulu, the teacher that teaches the third graders and fifth graders in a special monarch and milkweed voluntary class, and she related that same story about the caterpillars and the wasps. Gosh, it was a great story. But we do have two classes two opportunities for folks that want to participate in April and the 1st of May. On the 23rd of April, the class in Floresville, sponsored by the Wilson County Master Gardeners, and of course the AgriLife Extension, is there at classroom number 10 in Floresville, and it has seats available. Do you have the
number?
Yes. I don't have it in.
I have it.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, I
the
do.
number
I've got
for
it here.
the Floresville is 830-299-0069.
Yes, that's the same number I have. So, yeah, the advantage of calling and registered is that you get priority for the free germinated plant and also the stratified seeds that we distribute. And this is the first time we're distributing stratified seeds. And the idea there is that you pick a spot that you want the milkweed to grow in your garden directly or in a very large container so that the monarchs can take advantage of it. It's the only thing they'll lay their eggs on are the milkweeds, and that's what we're after. We're targeting. So we've got, we hone in on the 6 different native milkweeds, and we also include the discussion of the tropical milkweed. So lots of information is provided. And that class is on Thursday, the 23rd of April at 6 p.m. Did I get that? Yeah, the 23rd at 6 p.m. Which is a Thursday. That's unusual for us to have an evening class, but they traditionally fill it up. So go ahead and register for it, and we'll see you there. And then if you're another class that always fills up is the class in New Braunfels, and that's sponsored. This year it's sponsored by the Comel Master Naturalists, and it is at the center, the AgriLife Garden in New Braunfels. Wonderful facility. Classrooms are very comfortable, accommodating, large. Also, it's the first class of a big event for the day. So if you can come there and attend our class, and then if you want, you can go to all the displays or the activity tables, or you can attend some of the other classes. But to register for the New Braunfels class, which is on May 2nd at 9:30 a.m., you call. Do you have that?
830-620-3440.
That's it.
That's it.
And that is the extension office in New Braunfels in Comel County. So you can leave them a message now, but you might want to call them during the week to go register. And that's for May 2nd at 9:30 a.m. in New Braunfels. Mark, have you got that address? Or I've got it here if you don't.
The address for the one in New Braunfels.
Yeah.
It's off 46, and it is on
325 Resource Drive.
Resource Drive, yeah. So look for the big piles of mulch It's right. It's on that road right there, right
Yeah.
next to it. That's the county mulch facility.
And,
It's
and
next
look
to it.
for the wonderful garden area. They're always experimenting, and attractive plants do very well. And it's one of the few places I've seen bluebirds
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we're talking about that. It is
Yeah.
kind
That's
of
it.
on the western range of the bluebirds there in New Braunfels. You see a lot of things that are on the western range of it, a lot of plants.
So, and of course, if you want more information, you can review my articles in the Express News, or the columns in the Wilson County News, or the Herald Zeitung in New Braunfels. Also on the website here at Milberger's.
Yes, and the website's milbergernursery.com, milbergernursery.com. And,
All right.
and both those classes still have plenty of spots available.
Still the plenty of slots still available, and it's 23rd of April and in the evening, and then again on May 2nd in the morning.
Sounds exciting.
And in the article today, or yesterday, we
Yeah, yesterday. It's
Talked.
Sunday today.
talked a lot about shade and small trees. I had a pretty positive response to the column.
Yeah, no, it was a good column. I like it. Well,
it's
I
kinda-
like it because it has all my trees. And you added another one of my favorite trees in there, talking about Candelia, otherwise known as Brazil. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, and then in fact one of the gardeners called, and then Mark, you gave us some information. If I was a little worried that on Brazil that it'll be hard to find it's not usually at the traditional nurseries, even Milberger's.
Mm-hmm.
It's desirable in terms of a native plant for wildlife, and
Yeah.
it's an attractive plant, interesting plant for sure. But you did a good job of describing how you might find that specimen.
Right. Well, you certainly can find it in growing wild in the nature parks, Phil Harburger, Friedrich Wilderness, all those kind of parks. But a lot of these smaller nurseries in and around town, they will have individual trees growing in small pots. The ones that specialize in having a lot of native plants. They would grow. Now, it's very easy to grow. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's simple to grow, but not very easy. So you collect the little berries before all the wildlife get them in late August, and you may have 20 seeds, and two may germinate, and so you try to grab as many as you can from a tree and put it out. So, but also, what I mentioned yesterday is the book is called "Propagation of Native Plants in Texas and the Southwest" by Jill Noakes, Nokes. It's a great book, and you just look up Candelia, which I forgot to do last night, everyone. Sorry. And she talks about how to grow it from cuttings and berries and seeds.
Now, if you're in a neighborhood with the Brazil grows, you have those seedlings everywhere. So they're relative. We talk about how hard Texas mountain laurel is to transplant.
It's about the same, yeah.
So, but you can, and of course, the seed is available then in August. You say, Mark?
Yeah, about that. It ripens up.
All righty. We'll be right back.
We're back with Millburgers Gardening South Texas, live from Millburgers Landscaping and Nursery at 1604 in Bulverde Road. Come out to visit or call us at 210-308-8867. That's 210-308-8867. And now back to Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 930 a.m. The Answer.
Welcome back to Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alex Escobar with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. We have James on the line. James, thank you for calling. How are we doing?
Good. How's everybody?
We're doing pretty well over here.
Well,
Good. Hey, listen.
Mark has lost James. He's headed towards the coffee, so he should be back. Oh, there he is. I see his feet pattering.
Did he leave a trail of crumbs back to the porch? Well, hey, listen. Oh my goodness, 3 of my onions are already fixing to bolt to bloom. Is there any way to? Yeah, it's early. I don't know if it's the weather or maybe the watering. Is there any way to slow that process down?
Are they the red onions, or which ones are they? I've got a couple letters.
They're ones. I actually got them from Rainbow, but I know they sourced them from Dixondale as well. They're the ones I like. They're the little white ones, little Bermuda whites, white Bermuda, I think they're called, Bristol wax.
I've got a few too, and I've kind of blamed the weather pattern. With that, that changes in the weather, it just kind of clicks on a new chemistry, and some of them are more sensitive to it than others. I always write about, well, they're easy. They'll let you know when they're ready to be picked because they'll flop over. Well, they sometimes they do go to seed much long before we expect them to, and that's because of the weather. They also are, and somebody will say, well, they're really mostly dependent on the day length.
That's what I thought. Yes.
Yeah. So that is
the day length. Yeah. Would it hurt or help, or would it be just wasted time to clip that? Because the flower spike, if you will, or the bud, hasn't opened yet on these 3.
How big are the bulbs?
That's just it. They barely started bulbing.
Okay.
Just barely started bulbing out. Yeah.
Well, I'd use them if I could for green onions. Otherwise, I would experiment with a few of them.
Okay. Secondly, as Mark would say back in the day, but he's not there. I think Mark says that.
He's back.
I'm back now.
It's back in the daytime. Okay. Thanks to my neighbor who does not mow his weeds, his Johnson grass has encroached into my property, so it's a battle. So I've been mowing, and mowing kind of helps, but it doesn't kill it out. So is there easy, tongue-in-cheek, is there a way to eradicate it? Back in the day, I would take a grubbing hoe and just get after it, but my back and shoulders don't allow for me to do that anymore, not for very long. Is there a chemical that'll take that stuff out?
Which is it? What is the weed?
Johnson grass.
Oh,
absolutely. In fact, one chemical was invented specifically for Johnson grass.
What is it?
Oh, good. Okay.
It's glyphosate. Glyphosate?
Oh, okay.
Glyphosate, yeah. So the original.
Familiar with that one.
Yeah, the original. And what it was admitted so that a tractor could go through a row and just hit the tops of the Johnson grass, and so it would kill them because it translocates the chemical down through the roots.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, when is the best time of year to try to do that? Because they're just now greening up now and putting on growth.
Yeah. Okay. Ideally, it's in the latter part of the summer. But
Summertime, okay.
Yeah, but in reality, you can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, it seems to work.
Okay, so that product's not cheap, even if I buy it in concentrate at the feed store. So I want to do it when it's most effective.
Okay.
So you say when you say summer, you're talking like July in the heat of summer, or late summer?
No. When summer into fall, late summer. That's when.
Late summer.
So the plant is naturally bringing some food and nutrients down from the top, down to the roots, and so the chemical follows along. It's just an easier process.
Do you have
more
any
effective at that time?
Do you have any herbicides, grass killing herbicides at home now?
Yeah, but it's not the glyphosate. It's I'm not at home. I'm driving.
Okay,
it's a Spectracide product, I believe, off memory, and I don't remember what the chemical is.
I don't know about the Spectracide, but some of them, like Fusilade and some of the others, seem to work too. Because Johnson grass grows fast and perennial and reseeds, but it also seems real susceptible to quite a few of those grass-killing herbicides.
Yeah. It's tough.
Okay. Do you know if that Johnson grass is it edible for like cattle, deer, etc.? Do they eat on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But before the all right, back up, Mark. When a cold snap hits, the chemicals within the Johnson grass turn into cyanide, and so
that's not good.
They didn't know that when they introduced it, and so they had a cattle mortality, and it's one of the many introductions from the Department of Agriculture. Kudzu, Bermuda grass, Bahia grass, Johnson grass, all these wonderful plants that stayed right where they're supposed to. Okay, that's sarcasm. So
what is it a threat to?
Johnson grass is just an invasive pest, particularly along areas where you have water. So in places where there's still watering by canals or things like that, it's always a problem. Anytime you have a new exposed area, Johnson grass will get in there. The problem with Johnson grass is its massive root system, but also if you're trying to feed it to cattle or if it's getting into your hay. So it's like if you're doing coastal and then you got some Johnson grass in there, man, that's not going to be very good for your forage production.
Cattle. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Well, this all started, my neighbor, I think it started when you say wet area around his leach field for his septic tank. And he would never mow it, and it just took over. And that stuff is terrible. Is terrible. Okay, so I'll give me some Roundup. So you're thinking like September time frame, something like that?
So yes. So what I'm going to say is the best time, and you look on the label, it will say the late summer, but it works very well any time of year. So I would get after it, and then you may have to use multiple applications, but you'll get to it. Yeah.
Okay, and in the meantime, just keep it mowed down the best I can. I guess try to keep it in check.
Yeah. So the best time right now to do it is you mow it, and then those new sprouts come up, and then you hit the new sprouts.
Oh, I can spray the new sprouts. That'll be effective this time of year?
Oh, yeah, that's very good. That's very effective.
Okay, I'll do that then. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Uh-huh. Bye.
210-308-8867. 210-308-8867. I think Calvin and I were admiring this black butterfly that flew by. Were you able to see it? Or?
Yeah, I didn't see if it was a black or a the other one that I can never remember the name of, that has the black wings, but the glow in the dark blue.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Did it have the blue on there?
Not that I saw. It went by a little too quick.
So there was the painted. No, I can't remember which one it was. The pipestone.
Yeah, that's it.
Pipe vine. There you
pipe
go.
Vine, yeah.
I know there's a P in there.
Yeah, the pipe vine is the one we've common, but we should start seeing the black swallowtail too,
Yeah.
especially since Mark has been talking about the herbs. That they probably heard that we have a load of the herbs here.
Oh,
absolutely.
Millburgers has a whole lot of herbs on sale. Let's go over there. So, a little Yorkie in front of us. So we do it. We have the parsley, and we have the dill, and we have the fennel. So all of them are here.
Yeah, and if you do grow those, a lot of chefs and cooks swear by them, but also keep your eye on them, because if the black swallowtails find them, they won't. Doesn't take them long to lay a mess of eggs on there, and they can strip them pretty quickly.
All right. Well, I guess we're staying on the topic of Johnson grass. 210-308-8867. 210-308-8867. We have Bert on the line. Bert.
I was going to say we have another person who has Johnson grass. All right.
Well, I'm not sure if I have Johnson grass or not, but I do know one thing that I used in Louisiana to stem the growth of grasses was Epsom salts.
Yeah, that's a very common DIY, do it yourself.
That's what I was saying for James. That's what I was saying for James. It's like if he just wants to stem the growth of them, it's an inexpensive way to control the grasses.
I just don't like to put salt down in the soil. That leaves that's a detriment to a lot of plants. Salting the soil.
Well, and I was going to go there, Mark, because that's what I learned when I was a child studying the Romans, and that's what the Romans did.
Someone who's an educated person.
I was thinking of the same thing, Carthage and Rome.
Well, we are all educated people here. I love that.
We must all be from the Midwest or something. I don't know.
No, he was down in Louisiana. Excellent.
Yeah, Bert grew up in the salt marshes. Bert grew up like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. I'll just say it like that.
So,
and it was good.
I was going to say, so for Alex and our other listeners, so when the Romans finally defeated Carthage, they destroyed the entire city and then salted all the fields around it, so they couldn't grow. So no one could grow anything in that area.
And then exactly, Jugurtha was a very great warrior, and I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but the other people don't.
Well, it's a good way. It's a good thing to do. It's like I understand what you said, but you caught my intrigue, Mark, when you said that when you put the poison in, what happens to that narrow-leaded grass?
Well, it
becomes a cyanide.
Yeah, it is well, no, the Epsom salts, I was going to say, is a very common use. It's the one I don't like to use. I like to use my vinegar, strong vinegar, and orange oil mixture. So that's my go-to organic on it, and I encourage a lot of people to do that one.
Well, no, I'm appreciating it. That's what I said. It's like, look, I know I said yesterday, it's like you guys you enlighten people so much. I don't think they even have a clue myself, some of them. And I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm saying they're just not educated. And I appreciate.
Who is he talking about? Us or?
No, it's like obviously, Calvin, you're a very educated man. That much is for sure. And so is Mark, and I guess, and Alex. You're on your way.
Yes,
Just
I'm learning
accept
every
and
week.
learn. Hey, it's a good thing to learn, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And that's what I was going to say about like I like to eat plantain. Okay, some people.
What?
Plantain.
Plantain.
You know that weed that grows in people's yard that has a big broad leaf? Well,
Yeah, is there a difference? Is there a difference between between a broadleaf killer and a narrowleaf killer?
No, they're all under the general name of broadleaf. So the two categories are broadleaf and grassy. And that's a big broad, I guess pun intended, broad categories that they have. So anything that's not a grass, and there's morphological differences between the two.
And the basic difference is that the stems of the grass emerge from the roots at the base of the plant.
And so if you want the scientific names, one's a monocot, one's a dicot. So that's a big difference.
Okay, no, I just was interested because it is like when I was in the service, and the doctors and everybody, it's like they go, okay, this worked in the laboratory. One of my favorite books was The Field Behavior of Chemical Agents. And I know Mark and Calvin and Alex, you all will appreciate it. If you can ever find your hands to get on it, look at it. It's a little short booklet, but it describes very basically what happens once it comes out of the laboratory and it goes into the application.
Okay, well, Bert, have you got anything else? We got some folks in line here.
Well,
so.
I just do want to know one thing. It's like, all right, the hackberries in Louisiana, the hackberries used to tend to fall apart because they got hollowed out from the inside out. Do they do that here?
The sugarberry, sometimes that's a different hackberry. The sugarberries, primarily on the east side and for points further east, do. They are structurally weak. However, there's one in the hill country that's called the netleaf hackberry. It is very drought tolerant and is very strong. I've taken down a few that unfortunately have died or people wanted out of the way, and they were solid all the way through. So it depends on the species. Some hackberries are good, some hackberries are not.
Well, I'll just say the one that's in the back of the yard, it's like, it's at least 30, 40 foot tall. And I was just wondering, I was just like sitting under it because it's a nice shady place. And I just don't want to be having a limb fall on me or something like that.
Well, every so often, every 4 to 7 years, have an arborist come by and look at it and see if any branches need to be removed.
All right. Well, if you do like mine, it just fell over on my corner of my yard from the neighbor's yard into my yard.
Yeah.
So.
Well, then you can take it down, Calvin.
Yeah.
Well, but the one you're saying, Mark, that it's still edible, correct?
Both of them are.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I just want to say one thing to Mark. It's like I got my bones after Katrina with a chainsaw.
Okay. Well, I'll always remember that then, in case I need someone.
Hey,
All right.
you know what? When you gotta cut wood, you gotta cut wood. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe he can call us back if if there's more.
Yes, sir. Well,
So
thank
we got these
All right,
folks
y'all.
here who want to talk.
All right. Thank you, Bert.
All right, bye, Bert.
No problem,
Bye.
man.
All right, we're going to take
Thanks,
a quick
Bert.
break. We'll be right
Bye-bye.
back with Millburgers starring South Texas, 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, or if you're here at Millburgers and you have a question, come on up to the patio and ask your questions. I think we had a...
Like this couple did previously
Yes.
during the break.
They were looking for the best citrus trees to grow here, correct?
So you have a wide selection, but the ones that I like for both not only providing great fruit, but also most cold tolerant are the Satsumas. And of the Satsumas, Arctic Frost and Orange Frost are probably the best. And then, but there's other Satsuma mandarins like Miho and Awari and Sito. Those are all really good. Also, but I'd seen there yesterday. I looked at the citrus, and there was a Bloom Sweet grapefruit, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah, gosh, I had great luck with it.
Yeah.
Now it's got seeds. It's an old fashioned. It's got seeds, and it's a white meat, but that it has seems to have the most cold tolerance of the selections that are available, and it's an attractive plant, a productive plant.
Yeah, I do. It will be a little taller than the other citrus, but that's what makes it attractive in my eye. And then we also have the lemons, Meyer improved.
Yeah, just be prepared to. We talk about all the citrus being sensitive to cold, but the lemons and the limes are the most sensitive. So you expect to cover them, protect them every year.
Yesterday, I was walking through the main area, the main house, and I noticed we have different size of the little coasters. Little round coasters with coasters on the bottom, the wheels on the bottom. So that's always a good idea. So that you have a big pot and you have it on one of these size coasters, and you can like move it around.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we plant the lemons and limes usually in containers, and it's great if we can plant them in half whiskey barrels. But a half whiskey barrel that's wood. That's very heavy and hard to move. But one of those coasters makes it
little platforms
much
with,
practical.
Yeah, platform with coasters on the bottom of it. I thought we had some, but I hadn't seen them. But they were sitting right there, right by the fertilizers.
We've got the container, those with wheels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your facility.
No. Right by where all the seed racks are.
Oh, wow.
Right in there where the tools, right in front of the tools.
You know what else I wanted that I've noticed and that we wrote about in the article and we talked about quite a bit is the Mexican olive.
Yeah.
That is another desirable small tree for your landscape. If you want something that is very showy and worthy of being a specimen plant, full sun. And again, that's in the kind of mid-level league in terms of cold tolerance, but traditionally, even if it freezes back every 10 years or every 5 years, it will come back and will bloom. And it has some fruit. The wildlife will eat it, the birds and all, but it's not the favorite. But what is the real attraction is the is those blooms. The leaves are kind of cool too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big, thick, and fuzzy.
What do you think
the deer-
about when you
deer won't eat
recommend folks to consider it? What do you usually think is the most desirable use for it?
Because I think of those occasional freezes, it's probably a multi-trunk tree that'll come back, or maybe a small shrub. So if you want, if you have an open area and you want a barrier tree, that's an excellent one. It does prefer full sun. That's the one thing. So if you have a full sun area along a back line, a back fence, or what's often it's used for, if you have a circular drive inside the circle, is often it's used as the feature.
That'd be
feature
attractive.
plant.
Like if there were three of them. Although they're not a real disciplined plant. I've got a couple of them, and they have. It's not unusual for them to have a different growth pattern, depending on their site. But they'll grow in almost any soil. But they do have how open are they? How subject to wind and cold are they? Would helps determine what the shape they end up. But you can't, no matter what shape they are and where they're growing, they're going to produce those blooms, and they're hard to match.
So you could, with a significant amount of pruning, get into a single tree, but I think a multi-trunk would probably be best for it. But they will grow minimum amount of water, big showy flowers.
Yeah, they are very drought tolerant. Yeah.
The one problem is you can't plant them to the far north. A few years ago, we had one person call in and says, "Well, I have a Mexican olive, and it's a problem." And I asked, "So whereabouts are you?" And he said, "Well, we're in Canyon Lake." And I said, "Well, that's the problem." So generally, no farther north than 46, and preferably no farther north than 1604.
Yeah, it's a great plant. You know, another one though, I think in the same league, and that's more nearly a native, is the Mexican plum.
Right.
That is another nice plant. It always strikes me how disciplined grower it is, and if you got enough land that you can plant 3 of them in a unit out in the full sun, God, they're hard to beat. I was trying to remember if they just finished blooming.
I think just now. I think it was this week or maybe last week they finished blooming. So they're one of the first ones, but not the first one to bloom.
And they will. I was thinking of. The full sun. They're pretty shade tolerant though too.
Yeah, and so that's where I've seen them. Maybe in kind of an open area, maybe a deciduous tree, like maybe a big post oak or so, and then in the springtime you see this white flowering tree in the midst of a bunch of deciduous trees. Going, oh, what's that? And it's a Mexican plum.
Don't count on it to keep you from starving to death, though.
No.
But if you want some big seeds to spit,
it's about 90% seed and about 10% fruit around the plum.
Yeah,
plum, air quotes.
Yeah. So that's a versatile plant.
And the leaves,
shade tolerance and also full sun.
The bark and the leaves are very attractive to me. They have a very distinctive pattern in the leaf.
Well, and if you're a wildlife advocate, they're very compact and dense. and you can't hardly grow one without having the cardinals or the mockingbirds to actually, or even the wrens to actually nest in them, because it's always amazing that you'll be out there and then you say, why does that bird keep coming back and forth? And there it is. Mm-hmm. There's the nest up there. And the wren is trying to deceive you, but they'll find it. It's a site that they favor, and really a worthy native plant, and it's also one of those that I mentioned in that article I wrote on the compromise between a disciplined landscape and a wildscape. You can get with the Mexican plum. It's one of those that'll fit either, and just like some of those roses that we talked about too. That you want me to be a spectacular blooming plant for 9 months out of the year, or do you want me to be very attractive for nesting birds? Yeah. Or an excellent place for the birds to look for insects. And some of those roses.
Or you want to be a hybrid tea and produce like 3 flowers a year.
Yeah, and keep your pruning shears in your back pocket. Yeah. So, but in fact, we better not undersell the hybrid roses, because they're really attractive right now. And,
right now. And did you look to see if they're on sale?
I don't believe so this week.
They
were last week.
Yeah, okay. There you go. I'm not going crazy yet.
No, but we were on this. Y'all were talking about plums. Plums and other fruit trees are on sale.
Ah, lovely segue.
Yes. Apples, peaches, pears, and plums. And number 5, regularly $49.99 on sale, 2 for $80. We have variegated ginger, the number 3, regularly $34.99 on sale, $28.88 each, or 2 for $50. The split leaf philodendron, regularly $34.99 on sale, $24.88 or 2 for $50. The foxtail fern, regularly $12.99 on sale, $8.88 each, or 3 for $24. And the Japanese boxwood, number 3, regularly $24.99 on sale, 2 for $40.
Yeah, gosh, there's speaking of the boxwood, there's a lot of them, but there's also a lot of the other shrubs. The hollies, just
yes,
a huge number of different varieties of hollies.
The dwarf Burford holly, regularly $24.99 on sale, 2 for $40. And then viburnum, regularly $24.99 on sale, $16.88.
I don't know if the Nandinas are on sale, but there's about 4 different selections right here in front of us that are very attractive and disciplined growers. But
a couple of options there, at least.
We had a gardener, a very skillful gardener, send us an email questioning our definition of salts, Epsom salts. Do you want to, Mark? You want to?
No, you're dragging me into this. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so a salt is a positive molecule and a negative molecule. So, like potassium nitrate.
So, if you there's various definitions of it.
Yeah. So I'm using the broad general term salt. Not sodium chloride is a salt. So it's a positive and a negative. And so, like Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. It fits the broad definition. One is positive, one is
so
negative.
your definition is based on structure rather than chemical.
Well, yeah, not the exact chemical, the broad chemistry.
Okay, but we appreciate the input.
The conversation,
yes. We always love it.
Absolutely.
Yes. 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. We're going to be right back with Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Welcome back to Millburgers Gardening South Texas on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alex Escobar with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. Give us a call at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. Just a heads up for our listeners, next Sunday is Easter. There will be a show, but it will be a pre-recorded, so we will not be live at Millburgers next Sunday. We will be live Saturday, but Sunday will be a pre-recorded show, just to give you a heads up.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. I feel like this year's starting to just speed up, slower, quicker and quicker.
Yes. Or for our English-speaking listeners, more quickly.
More quickly. And as we mentioned at the beginning, Impatiens and Society Garlic, they are also on sale. I know I listed everything off earlier, but yes, the Impatiens in a 4-inch pot, regularly $179, on sale 8 for $12. And the Society Garlic in a number 1, regularly $9.99, on sale $7.88. And I think throughout this whole day I've seen a whole bunch of Society Garlic come in, be placed here, and then taken up by customers.
So, yeah, sometimes they bring in the big racks, and they don't even place them down. They just let the customers take them right off the rack. But they're not doing it today.
Well, and let's remind everybody, too, about the, we've had quite a few people say, when do you expect to get this plant or that plant? One of the neatest things about here at Millburgers is to put in a phone, call in and say, hey, let me know when you have this plant coming in, and what'll happen is that they're very conscientious. They'll call you and let you know when it's here. That doesn't obligate you to buy the plant, but it does. If you still want the plant, they'll set it aside for you so you can buy it, so that it's there when it first shows up here at Millburgers. It'll be available to you to pick it up, and that's kind of cool too, especially if you got gift certificates and things like that. But give that a try, because it seems to work really slick. We've got some customers that rely on it. And our friend Milton used to do it quite often. He had really great luck with it.
When you were talking, I'm not sure if I was imagining it, but I swore I saw a hummingbird just kind of buzzing around in front of us.
A hummingbird?
Was it a hummingbird moth?
No,
or was it a real hummingbird?
It didn't look like a moth. It was moving a little quicker than that.
Well, we're going to ask you
I
then.
did see a hummingbird earlier, but I haven't seen one lately.
I was going to say, do you know what color it was? Do you remember?
I think it's right over here.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a hummingbird, yeah.
I didn't know. It's all the way on the other end of the perennials. Did you see what kind it was?
Huh?
Did you see what kind it was?
No, but you probably got a good guess. Would be black chin hummingbird.
Yeah, that's what it was. Very
like
dark.
Was interested in the
salvias.
Salvias.
Yeah, that one, which I really loved. One of my faves. It's the raspberry, which is kind of a purplish red, or reddish purple, whichever way you wanted to say it. But it was, and hummingbirds really like salvias, but I never can imagine it producing enough nectar for it.
Huh. But they certainly.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering how the hummingbird would react to the hummingbird moth. Now maybe that's one of the reasons why they generally, and depending on. They seem to be collecting their nectar during different parts of the day. I don't know. Maybe they clash a bit, but that's kind of an interesting question, because I don't remember ever seeing them in these perennials that are just full of blooms here. And we see both of those species, but I don't remember ever seeing them at the same time. I'm saying that so that I'll drive them.
So it will happen.
It's just like the monarch butterflies. The minute I say something is an absolute on monarchs, they do something just the opposite, just to make me learn my lesson here. Those dianthus are very attractive. I've had, it's strange, dianthus to me have been kind of erratic, but they're really looking good. Even mine at home are pretty spectacular in containers with the blooms, and they are a desirable pollinator plant too.
Do you want to tell everybody about the classes again one more time?
Yeah, we've got the classes available. We just finished the class in the Education Resource Center over at Medical Center, and the next class will be on April 23rd in Floresville. It'll be at 6 p.m. at the number 10 classroom at the AgriLife Extension building over there, classrooms over there in Floresville. And it is to reserve spots so that you can get your free plant and your free stratified seed. You call
for Floresville 830-299-0069.
And then the class on May 2nd is in New Braunfels, and that's a class that's sponsored by the AgriLife Extension and the Master Naturalists there in Comal County, and that is on 9:30 a.m. on May 2nd, and for them you call
830-620-3440.
And the importance of calling a reserve a spot is so that there's a limited number of germinated milkweed plants and also stratified seed. And if you ever tried to stratify seed and then collect it and package it, it's not an easy task. So we want everybody that registers for the class to attend. We also need them to agree to report the data that they collect on the germination when it occurs, and also the success or lack of success they had with transplanting. And we're doing something a little different. We're going to give everybody my address, a computer address, and we'll also give you a self-addressed stamped, not a stamped envelope. We're going to ask you to pay for the stamp, but the self-addressed envelope with a data sheet in there, so you can fill it out and let us know in 3 months what kind of luck you've had with the plants.
So I know you said that the tropical is usually the successful one.
Tropical is the easiest to get it to germinate and transplant. The other one that has, except for this year, has been easy to get to germinate is the Zizoti, which is one that's native in the Blacklands Prairie north of San Antonio, but also to the south and west of San Antonio. We'd love to have some folks take access to the seed and plant it, so we can see if they can have better luck than we have had in getting it to germinate. Other things, the antelope horn has done really well. Butterfly weed has done very well. The green milkweed has germinated well. It's hard to get it to transplant, but we'd love to have some folks give it a try. And then let's see, Those are basically.
I know there's 6. Did you get all 6? Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. So we got. Let's see. We got antelope horn. We got. Well, the showy. The showy is the one that's been the most successful and germinated.
Yeah.
Swamp has not been at all successful.
That's very interesting.
This spring. Last fall, it was the one that was most likely to germinate.
It just goes to show you the different years, different species.
It's those darn monarch butterflies again. They're
getting picky,
making my life miserable. Yeah.
Well, then that just goes to show you.
Making my life, my scientific pursuits interesting.
There you go.
Yeah.
So got to have some diversity. So that's always good. But anyway.
And we've got for those of you that came yesterday and were looking for the new gold lantana, there are some of those in bloom that are available now. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the blue plumbago that is blooming up a storm. And we mentioned the what is the fragrant?
This right here.
Society garlic.
Which is on sale and very attractive, and the deer don't eat it.
Yeah, a lovely bouquet. Yeah. But
dianthus is blooming up a storm too.
Yeah. So we got lots of choices here for the monarchs to get their nectar.
And expect them. If you've got blue curl or zinnias or lantanas, salvias,
or mistflower.
Yeah, porterweed. Most of the porterweed's not blooming yet, but if you've got those blooming, you can expect the monarchs to be visiting those blooms and trying to fill up with nectar as they continue their migration to the north. They come from Mexico City, and they come through the central Texas area, including Floresville and San Antonio and New Braunfels and all of our other communities that surround the area.
That we always mention milkweed, yeah, but we don't always mention the pollinator, the nectar sources.
That's right.
And that's real important. It's like two sides of the same coin.
It's especially important if there's no milkweed available for them to nest if they're coming north. And then in the fall, we want them to head down to the wintering grounds. So that having nectar sources available in the fall is also very important. So if you want to contribute to the success of the improving the population of the monarchs, have those, not only have milkweed growing in your landscape, also have those nectar sources. Yeah. And the good news is that a lot of them are beautiful, easy to grow plants themselves.
We just had a wasp go by. And
I saw that.
And Alex was afraid. And I was going to say, don't worry, you're not a caterpillar.
I thought you two were going to get up and run out there.
Oh, no. I wanted to point out, you're not a caterpillar, so don't worry.
I'm not.
Yeah, and we haven't seen our monarch for the day either.
Nope. Probably right when we go off the air right now, we'll see something spot up.
Exactly. As soon as we go off the air, you will...
Absolutely.
It will show up.
Well, again, thank you for listening today. This is Millburgers Gardening, South Texas, on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alex Escobar with Dr. Calvin Finch and Mark Peterson. We hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. We will see you next Saturday. Have a good one.